Rachel is at CEDAR as well.
Ah, that explains a lot. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
and I think Christina is as well.
Yeah, right.
well, good. Hopefully they're presenting or learning some good stuff. All right, well, it's Thursday, June 26th. I guess this is the Personal Space Weather Station Operations Telecon. We don't have a formal agenda or minutes to go over, but AB4EJ, you said you had some updates, Bill?
Yeah, a couple of things. One thing I thought the group might want to bring this up again. Have a look at this. There is a guy in the Netherlands, I think. That's Papa Alpha, right? Who is running a homebrew Grape One. And by homebrew, I mean really homebrew. Let me display this. Let me see. Okay, here we go. This is his
Oh,
and it works.
wow.
And let me see. There is now this. I don't get it what he's got going here, because what's going on here? I don't know. I guess maybe this is he's got the homebrew rig interface to the Raspberry Pi through some USB connection or something, not sure. Here's his antenna, and here is the ladder he uses to climb the antenna, climb the tower right down here. And he just turned 79, so he's questioning whether he needs to keep climbing towers or not. But anyway, so he right now is working on converting this system to upload to Personal Space Weather Station network. And we've got about a half a dozen people converted over now. So we're making gradual progress on that. We've made another one or two corrections to the instructions on how to do that. And so let me see, okay, all right, so that's in progress. Also, by way of making progress, I'll show you this as well. Come on, where is it? Okay, here it is. Here is the progress report on getting the Grape 2 disk drives from 2024 imported.
Wow.
Now, here's the thing. Maybe it's not as good as you might think it is. These are so far on the left, you can see the drives that we have received. I noticed there's a number of them that aren't there, like 22, 3, and 23, 4, and 5 are not there. There's a few that we didn't receive for whatever reason. And the 1017 has been repurposed. I got the data from it imported, and then repurposed the machine to run as node 33 that's running at my shack. So this import just means it's been imported into box. I don't have my new server yet, although there was some progress on that. A guy who is in charge of of setting up the new server contacted me on Monday, saying, "Can we get together and talk about the final details on this?" I said, "Sure. Call me, text me, email me at any time," and I didn't hear back so far. But anyway, so at least this much. We're getting the data off the hard drives. It hasn't been necessary to resort to any of the USB sticks, because all the hard drives have been healthy, and I've been able to get all the data off of all of them so far. And it takes about 4 days to import one of them into box. And that's because the speed of box on writing is kind of slow. The way box works is it's a classic. They import, well, on import, it goes to a hard drive. and then they reflect that data in RAM for a certain amount of time. So if you import something and read it back, read it back immediately, the read back is quick, very, very fast. But if you leave it for a while, that RAM will be reused for something else, and then eventually it gets pushed backward, and the longer it sits out there, it gets moved to slower and slower access types. So that's pretty standard for these large systems. So we've got, oh, I don't know, maybe about 100 terabytes imported so far, something like that. And when the time comes when we have the new server, I'm going to test this and see how well I get data imported into the new system from box. If it turns out to be really slow, I always have the option of putting the hard drives back on and reading them into the new server, because that will go a lot faster than the box import, simply because we have a much faster connection, and the hard drives on the new server are pretty quick. So anyway, so that's the progress on that. So back.
Bill, I'm 1027 does not show up there. Does that mean you just haven't gotten to it yet?
Right. We have these hard drives that are on the list, are ones we have received, and I've just been going down through them in numerical order doing the import.
Okay, because I did send it in. I hope it
Yeah,
got
we
received.
got it. We got it.
Okay, great.
But what was shown on the left there, going down the left here, everything over here is everything on here are the hard drives that we have received. So if it's on the list, we have it.
Very good.
So that's my report.
You're muted, Gary.
Probably a good thing for everyone. Okay, nice progress, Bill. Good report. For one thing, I just want to remind everyone we turned off the HamSCI-grape Google group, and about 230 people that were in that group should have all gotten invitations to the new group, HamSCI-PSWS. Of course, I could see by looking at the email addresses have changed and whatnot over the years and that sort of thing. So out of the 200 or so invitations sent out, approximately 100 have accepted or come in with a new email address, which is great. But for some reason, if you didn't get an invitation, or if you're looking at Google groups and something doesn't look right, let me know and we'll try and figure it out. Let's see, anything else for the group, PSWS related? All right, the other thing that most of you probably saw in the main HamSCI Google group is I put out the call for 10 WhisperSound hosts. So we've done so much work with receiving stations over the years, it's a little bit different to actually be looking for transmitting stations for a change. But I think I've gotten maybe 5 or 6 responses. Looking pretty good on some of those, and I'll take a look at those later today. Get back to those folks and confirm that I got their forms, and see if we can get people some whisper sounds and create some more whisper data before fall time. See, anything else anybody else wants to bring up? Questions, comments for the group?
No, as a side note, I can show you what I've been up to for the last 6 weeks.
Does it involve antennas?
Yeah, unfortunately. WAEDU had 4 beam antennas put up last August, and the contractor didn't know his head from a hole in the ground and didn't follow the directions. And the result is, as you can see, all the overlapping elements on the antennas corroded to the point where all antennas became non-functional. So we had over $10,000 worth of aluminum in the air, which I am now scrapping. And we had to go out and rebuy the antennas, which I'm now assembling in my lounge area right outside my window here. And of course, it costs us another $60,000 to have a contractor come out and put the antennas up and take them down. So we're making progress, but this is what happens when you install antennas and don't put the NIC's lubricant on it to keep the inside bore and outside bore from corroding. And what you see, that gray stuff is aluminum oxide. It's very insulative, and you cannot take that off with steel wool or Scotch-Brite. You'd have to put it in a lathe and turn it and take off about 5 thousandths. But if you did that, you also have to do the inside bore of the mating connector, which is next to impossible for that kind of length. You're better off just buying the tubing, in which case you're better off just buying new antennas. So that's going to be my world for the next 2 months.
Wow. What a
Yeah,
pain in the neck, to put it mildly.
yeah.
Say,
So because he didn't buy a $30 can of this anti-lubricant, it's costing us close to $80,000 to fix it.
John, just to throw this out there, something you might want to try as an experiment. There is something called Alumabrite, which dissolves aluminum oxide. We use it for cleaning the bottom of pontoon boats, and you spray it on and then rinse it off with water, and that aluminum goes back to its pristine state. It might be worth spending $10 and getting a gallon of that and trying it just to see if it does what you want without having to turn it on a lathe and all that. Just a thought.
Yeah, it's a thought, but unfortunately, we've already bought the antennas and I've already scrapped 2 of them. So it's a
Yeah.
lot of manual labor. Um, but yeah, it's just a slow train wreck in progress.
And those were riveted too, so you'd have to drill out all those rivets,
I had to
right?
make a special drilling fixture for our drill press to be able to drill the rivets out and not enlarge the 1/8 inch holes. The first antenna had 188 rivets, and the second antenna I stopped counting after 200. And this is the second antenna, and like I say, the devastation is pretty complete. You put an ohmmeter on it, and it's gig ohms, so it's pretty devastating stuff. And that's what acid rain does to aluminum. And that's only after 10 months. And the guys who are installing this professionally say you've got maybe 3 months when you first install it. At the 6 to 8 month point, it's corroded and you're running into problems of getting the tubes apart. And we're at 10 months now, and there were tubes I could not separate. They were so frozen. So multiple problems. So we're just gritting our teeth and grinding through it.
Yeah, you usually think about that kind of stuff along the coast where there's salt water and stuff. You don't think of it in University Circle, but obviously it's there.
Yeah. Yeah. And the capillary action is what sucks the water into the two tubes because they're only, like a 5 thousandths difference. So it's a little drop of water goes back about 4 inches. Because it's spread so thin, and the capillary action, just as you can see, it sucks it all the way. And those sections are 18 inches long. So
So
anyway,
what are you supposed to do to prevent that? I remember there's like a copper grease or something, or
yeah,
what?
it's called SS Lube. DX Engineering sells it, and it's a copper-based antioxidant conductive lubricant you put on the two joints and you thread it on there, and it keeps the water out and it makes a better connection.
What's it called again?
Uh,
SS30. We
yeah,
call it the
SS,
secret sauce, but
yeah, at DX Engineering sells it. It's SS30, and for $30 you get this huge can of it that'll do a lot of antennas. And you really need to do that because the acidity in the rainwater is enough to attack the aluminum.
Yeah, I'm going to be building a new antenna to replace the one that got destroyed, so I want to try and pay
You
attention.
definitely want to do that. And it says in the manuals to do this. So yeah, that's
Okay,
it.
yeah, I actually have a can of that I use to put my vertical up, so I
Yep,
probably
that's
have
what you
some
want to
more.
use. Stuff
Yeah.
works great. The only caveat is you have to be careful with it because if you get it on you, it gets all over everything and you can't get it off. It's, I wear
Right.
the nitro gloves and you don't want to get it on your clothing. And yeah, it's very pervasive once you get it on you, but it does a really good job.
wear old clothes when you're working with it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
How do you get it off if you do get it on?
Well, alcohol will help dissolve it, but when you get it on your clothes, in fact, I got a little on my one set of jeans. I put some of the pre-wash on it. It seemed to take it out as long as you get it right away, but it works. And I'll leave it at that.
It's also good for stainless steel bolts because stainless steel bolts and threads tend to gall and freeze up. And
Yeah,
that
this
stuff
is
will keep
also an
that from happening.
anti-seize. Yeah, it's an anti-seize as well. So
Yeah.
putting it on the stainless steel bolts is a good idea.
All
Oh.
right. Any other comments? Anything else? Otherwise, we'll close her down for the week.
Sounds good.
All right. Great. Good talking, everyone. Good seeing
7-3,
everyone.
guys.
73.
3.